Hey everybody, welcome to Fit Pro Systems. My name is Ron Betta. I'm a personal trainer and I'm going to be talking to you today about realistic goals for your clients. Clients will come to you with some outlandish goals. Some of them are crazy. As long as it is not something that is going to harm them, as long as it is not something that is dangerous to them or other people, it's not illegal. I had a guy come in one time to a pretty big gym I was working in, and he opened up a box. He had a little shoe box, and he opened it up, and it was just filled with steroids. And he wanted me to tell him what size needle to use, like what gauge needle. And I'm not trained in any of that. I don't deal with that. I don't know if you could tell, but I don't do steroids. So it wasn't like he was coming to me for experience, like for my experience in this world. And I was kind of surprised because I told him, look, man, we're in a big gym. There's cameras everywhere. You have a drug that is, illegal. And you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. In the second place, you're asking a personal trainer medical information, like what gauge needle you should be using. So it was really an unusual situation. But he was somebody that I wasn't gonna be able to train him. His goal wasn't realistic. Not to mention, in his particular case, he had a heart condition and he had narcolepsy. So if you don't know what narcolepsy is, what would happen is it's a situation where a person just falls asleep. Now, there are different things that stimulate that situation. Like in his case, if his heart rate went up, he would fall asleep. So when he started to do exercise and his heart rate reached a certain threshold, he would just go to sleep. It was uncontrollable. He'd pass out. So you can imagine that this guy wants to do steroids. He's got a heart condition, and once he brings his heart rate up, he's going to fall asleep. So any weight he lifts is going to cause his heart rate to go up, and it's going to cause him to go to sleep. So I knew that I was going to have to train him only on machines, right? And that the ability to build big muscles, really, I think it really comes from using free weights. I mean, you can still get big muscles from machines, but I think that free weights are really so much more intense and so much more beneficial for the joints, just because you have that level of instability. But in this case, this guy, I wasn't gonna train this guy, especially considering he had an illegal substance in front of me in the gym, and I don't want to lose my job. But if it doesn't seem realistic to you, think about it from the point of view that the person may have the drive, they may be able to do it. If they don't quit, they don't quit. Now, if grandma wants to become a Navy SEAL, and she's sitting across from you and she's 74 years old, and she says she wants to get into SEAL training, or she wants to be in that same level of fitness, you need to try to get her there. In my opinion, you need to carefully bring her from one stage of her fitness to the next stage until she achieves her goal. Now, this doesn't mean you just drive her into the ground with the heaviest weights, or you push her to run 40 miles uphill with 150 pounds over her head. You need to go through the progression safely. But people have walked on the moon. People have done some amazing things with their bodies. There's the 4-minute mile guy, Bannister, who everybody thought, we couldn't run the 4-minute mile. And then this human did it. And now several other humans have done it because they realized that it was possible. So just because you don't think it's realistic doesn't mean that the client can't achieve it. So I recommend that you take into consideration that as long as they're performing the exercises safely, that they're challenging themselves, they're hopefully getting results, that you can find ways to push them to the next level and get them to their goals. So that's all I really wanted to say about this. I just think that it's important, since a lot of people do ask, hey, is my goal realistic? Clients will say, hey, I want to hit this weight by this time, and it's not always easy, but it can be done. If it seems overwhelming to them, the other thing I would recommend you do is break it down. A few years ago, I had a client come into the gym, and she said, I want to lose 100 pounds, but it seems overwhelming. And I thought, well, it is overwhelming. Some people weigh just over 100 pounds. You have to lose a whole person, right? That's a lot of energy that you have to burn. You're going to be sore. You're going to be tired. It's going to take a long time. This isn't a 5-week commitment. This is years, probably. And then you have to maintain the lower weight for several more years for it to become a set point for your body to kind of maintain that. So this person needed to lose, or wanted to lose, 100 pounds. And in the process, what I explained to her was that what I wanted her to think about was losing 1 pound 100 times, which I know sounds a little funny, but it's a lot more manageable to think I have to lose 1 pound maybe this week or over the next 2 or 3 days, and then I'm going to lose another pound, and then I'm going to lose another pound. And if you do that 100 times, it's a lot easier to mentally break that down than to say I have to lose 100 pounds. Because again, it's just an enormous amount of weight that you're trying to tackle at one time. Whereas if it's 1 pound 100 times, it's a lot easier for people to internalize that. Probably the best way to look at it. With that said, I'm going to move on. I will see you in the next video, and we'll talk soon.